Hey guys, this is Risk here with a special episode on how to stop ZvZ floods. So today I was on ladder and I came across 4 ZvZ floods and I said to myself, my goodness, there's probably some people out there who want to know how to stop ZvZ Ling floods. So I decided to go ahead and make a video of it just to give you an idea. I have a 69% win rate in ZvZ and I'm in Master League, obviously. So, I mean, I would say I have some level of knowledge on the matchup, and I've been GM twice. So in terms of reliability, I'm not perfect for sure, but I definitely have a good chunk of knowledge. So we're just gonna go ahead and load into the replay here as we load in here. So the first and starting point we want to talk about here is gonna go ahead and be our the first step is spotting the Ling flood. Obviously that's the first and most important thing, is spotting the Ling flood. Oftentimes you'll see this with your standard initial overlord, and from there that's where things really start to spiral. That's where we start to react to the situation, but we'll go ahead and talk about that in a minute. So I'm just gonna be following my my perspective here as we go along with the normal game. We go ahead and do our normal 17 hatch. We're not doing anything crazy. You can already see on the production tab that he's going for a Ling all-in of sorts. It's not entirely unexpected, but you obviously from our side we have to see it first. So we're going along here. This is a completely standard build. Bear in mind that one of the most important things, I'm actually going to pause to emphasize this, one of the most important things is no matter what build you're doing, you get your Baneling Nest at 28 supply, unless you specifically have a reason not to get it at 28 supply. The reason it's critical to have it at 28 supply is because that's always going to be prior to most Ling rushes, unless it's a dedicated, extremely early pool, extremely early pool, like a 13 pool, 14 pool, 15 pool, something very quick. If it's not one of those, then your 28 supply Baneling Nest is going to be a very good time for stopping Ling floods, and if not Ling floods, for the whole sparring at the third base is a very common occurrence. So I'm going to slow it down here to like ×2, because we can already see that he's starting to mass up Lings here. And I really want to slow things down. So we see he's got Lings. We spot that, okay, there's only 2 drones here, but that's fine because we made 4 Lings. But right here, so here's the first step. We have now seen 8 Lings. This would qualify as spotting. Alright, this qualifies as spotting. Our next step is to morph Banes if you have a Bane Nest. If not, pull Queens to natural immediately. That's going to be your next big step. We're going to watch my vision here. We're going on normal. Split off a Ling. We're just trying to buy time here. But the first and foremost is you come over here and you want to make sure that you pull your Queens. And I believe we'll see me do that in a second. So building Evo Chambers and pulling Queens is going to be your first and most important thing. So we see I pull the Queen here, and I also pull this Queen down here as well. You can see me. This Queen is actually going to come down as well. So that's the first and first thing you do is you bring your Queen over to the gap where you want it, and then you build. In this case, I actually went ahead and I actually jumped to step 3 and I built. The reason you go to building first is if you think that you're not going to be able to comfortably pull your Queen down from your main in time. So step 2 and step 3 are somewhat interchangeable. If you have a Bane Nest, always morph your Banes first. If you don't have a Bane Nest, your next step is immediately going to be building Spines and Evo Chambers and pulling your Queens. I put pull Queens first because I like to pull my Queen to the spot where there's going to be a gap, and then I build my Evo Chambers, as opposed to building the Evo Chambers and then filling the gap. So those 2 steps are somewhat interchangeable, but you have to be very careful. Like I said, if you have a Bane Nest, morph immediately. If you don't, you pull Queens, and step 3, you build immediately. And remember guys, this one's important here. This is something people tend to not seem to understand. You'd rather overreact and play from behind than be dead. There's this notion out there that's like, you know what, Risk, you need to be able to get by with the least, smallest, and minimal amount of defense possible to be able to, to be able to say that you accurately defended the rush. No, that's not true. That's not true. Eventually, that's kind of true. But the truth is that if your opponent's made as many Lings as he has to cause you to have this sort of reaction, economically, you are ahead. You already have a lead. It's not like you needed a perfect defense to be able to have a lead. You already have the lead. It's in his hands to take the lead away from you. So in this case, you would rather always overreact. You'd always rather overreact than underreact because you're the one with the lead. You hold, you have a huge advantage. So we're slowing things down. We filled the gap. We see it's coming, and right when the Bane nest finishes, this is when we go ahead and we morph our Bane. There we go, now we morph. So the reason I didn't morph first is because the Baneling nest was building. The Bane nest was in the process of building. Now, one thing with my build is that I make a third queen after my second queen at my natural, and this gives me a huge, absolutely huge amount of stability because 3 queens is extremely hard to stop. And look at the positioning here. This queen, there's actually a second hole right here that this queen's blocking here. So this is literally, he has to get through 2 queens, and there's Banelings waiting on the other side. So now we saw exactly what happened. Let's go over this one last time. I'm just going to keep reiterating. We spotted it. We then morph Banes if we have a Bane nest. If not, we pull the queens. We make the Evo chambers. And sometimes I'll build spine crawlers if things are very desperate. The spine crawlers are like the act of desperation that essentially says, I think you're going to get through my queens, but I'm hoping my spine crawlers will be up in time. So the 4th step is queuing up Lings and queens. Because remember, queens are the key to a defense. And any Ling all-in, the instant there's 4 queens, the all-in is essentially done. You can ask No Regret this. I've seen it happen in No Regret. Your opponent has 5 queens, 4 queens. The rush is essentially done. Alright, maybe not for No Regret. No Regret's like a god. Just shout out to No Regret for somehow breaking all of these rules. But essentially, the 4th step is after you've positioned everything in a defensive position, then you queue up Lings and queens. Now, people would argue like, hey, at Risk, this all happens simultaneously. You're correct, but when you have 40 Lings sprinting across the map, you first want to go Evo, Evo, pull your queens, morph your Banes, and then worry about spending this money. Which I believe we do any second. We'll probably go ahead and queue up queens. Maybe we don't. Maybe we do. There we go. Now we're building stuff. And you can actually see here, I'm confident enough that I actually go ahead and build drones because I felt like I was in that good of a position. Maybe I overreacted, maybe I underreacted, but from here, we just keep doing our defense. We're actually droning right now. So if on a different map, if the wall isn't this tight, we would have queued up another queen, maybe 2 queens, maybe we throw down a spine. But this defense is already golden. It's already done. And just to show you how much we can win by, and actually I actually end up throwing down 1 spine because just want to be safe. Because look at the unit count, guys. 31 drones to 29 drones, and you might say to yourself, wait a second, Risk, 1 second here, Risk. There's only a 2 drone difference. Well, here's the difference, ladies and gentlemen. The difference is that if we jump back into this game, I have 2 Evo chambers that have been built, which means we can hit such a hardcore upgrade timing because he hasn't made Evo chambers that I already feel like it's game over. The other part of this is that I have more queens than he does, which means I have much more stability on the map, which means I can drone greedier. He doesn't know if I'm about to build 20 Lings behind this. He doesn't know. There's a certain amount of unknown that he's sitting here because he doesn't have any vision. He isn't allowed to have any vision. So from here, oh, I need to go back. I'm sorry. I messed that up. I messed it up. I done messed up. So the next step, let's slow this down real good. Any second now. Alright, here's the next step. After everything is extremely stabilized, step number 5, scout. This is if you have time. Because there's going to be other Ling all-ins where you completely were blindsided and you didn't have time to react and everything goes south and you don't have time to do this 5th step because you're already in a Ling Bling knife fight and you're barely holding on. But if you do have time for this, after everything's stabilized, then you scout with your Lings in front of your natural or a Baneling and you go ahead and you see what you can see. In this case, I see that this is all he has right here. And that's that. So, I want to reiterate one other thing. The other important thing to holding this type of all-in is having your Overlord in the correct spot. You need to be able to see Lings crossing the map. In this case, he sniped off an Overlord, which, by the way, guys, is a completely obvious sign that you're getting all-in. I'm sure there's some mind games that are involved, but just saying. Someone ever snipes an Overlord, there's a good chance they're about to flood you with Lings. I should have repositioned this Overlord, brought it right here, I also should have moved this Overlord and brought it right here. This Overlord right here, I should have brought it right here. This Overlord, I should have brought it over here. That would have covered every single lane. There would have been no way for him to sneak Lings past me. And now we're going to go ahead and go on ×8 speed to show you the outcome of this game. Just to show you, because I had double Evo Chambers, nothing else in this game matters. Doesn't matter what he does to me. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. At all. Because we already stopped his all-in, and from here, because we're the more stable player, we have better upgrades. We can take our third very safely. But it's that upgrade advantage from building double Evo Chamber for our defense that actually gives us a huge lead. That's what we actually have to leverage. And you can actually see in the upper left corner, you're like, wow, Risk actually is at a drone disadvantage. You would actually be correct, except I have a faster fourth. And it's the upgrade lead. I'm about to get 2-2, which absolutely wrecks him in this game from here. Give me a moment. Any second now. The moment's coming on ×8 speed. Oh. Oh, wow. We split off units. Wow, what a genius play. Wow. He's doing stuff to us, guys. But it actually doesn't matter. He tried to switch into mutas. And from here, because of our 2-2 upgrades from the early on Evo Chambers, we play this game and we snipe hackers. And and there you have it. GG. So even though I might not have leveraged the like after I stopped the all, and I maybe could have leveraged it harder. The point being is that if you learn to properly hold an all-in, the game can turn into a normal game, and that's what everyone wants, right? So one last time, the steps to holding it. SMPBQS, and there's no way you'll remember that. There's no way, but write it down. Spot, morph, pull, build, Q, scout. That is the main order. Spot with your Overlord, immediately morph Banes if you can, pull Queens, build your Evo Spine Wall, Q Lings and Queens, scout. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the way to hold on against Ling Floods. Now, in future reference, I might put up more videos with me stopping more Ling Floods, but for the sake of keeping this video somewhat timely, that's going to be all. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This is RiskSC. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. I love feedback. I want to learn because we are all learning together. Anyways, guys, have a nice night. This is Risk signing out.